Right then, where are we? What's happening?
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that Enzo Maresca has spoken in his first proper press conference of the season. Competitive press conference. Should I wear my hat like this? Yeah, he said a lot of interesting stuff. I'm going to cite Nazar Kinsella's Twitter page or X page to go through it. Lots of other stuff. I took a few notes myself. Rodri won't be available for Chelsea versus Man City. We've got to take the little victories, haven't we? Diego Moreira has been sold to Strasbourg. Chelsea are trying to get their goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic to follow him. And Leslie Gachukwu to Southampton. So, you know, plenty going on. Of course, guys, the blockbuster headlining transfer stories remain in Osimhen and Felix. They're not dead in the water. You know, Chelsea have reportedly spoken to Napoli and said, yeah, we are going to go for Osimhen. Chill, man. Chill, bro. It's all good, baby. And Felix, George Menj is talking to Chelsea in London, trying to get the deal over the line, trying to find a fee that makes everybody happy. And of course, Maresca mentioned the Conor Gallagher situation as well. So we've got lots to get into today, guys. Strap yourselves in, make yourself comfortable, pour yourself a ruddy drink. It's going to be a nice video today. And thank you, as always, for supporting the content. You can do so simply by liking and subscribing. Let's get into it. Yeah, so quickly off the bat, of course, Pep Guardiola in his pre-match press conference said Rodri's had zero training with them. He's not ready. He will not feature against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Huge for us. Man City without Rodri are nowhere near as good as Man City with Rodri. But then again, Haaland played against us the other day and scored a hat-trick. And I think he's going to be there. So, you know, we'll take the small victories when available. But, yeah, you know, it's good, but we need a lot more than good. Look, I did a match preview for that game. You could go check it out. I made a lineup. I built a lineup. I did, and we spoke about it. So, previous upload, go check that shizzle out, bro. Chelsea and Strasbourg are moving forward in discussions for Petrovic on loan, but they need to convince the player. This is coming from French publication L'Equipe. Of course, it does look like at the moment first choice goalkeepers at Chelsea are split between Rob Sanchez, who I believe will start the season as first choice, and a new £20 million signing, Philip Jorgensen, who has been brought in as a profile to challenge him. Georgi Petrovic is a good goalkeeper. He, under Pochettino, was the better choice over Sanchez last season, played better than him. I don't know really how many people thought Petrovic was going to be Chelsea's first team goalkeeper moving forwards. I think by the end of last season, a lot of people would have, been frightened to hear Sanchez is coming back in. We got to see him under the new gaffer before we pass judgment. But it does look like Georgi Petrovic could go on loan to Strasbourg. Of course, Chelsea have announced how Diego Moreira has been sold to their sister club. Of course, Moreira, the young winger, going from one blue co club to the other, and Chelsea to Strasbourg. I think it's like €2 million or something. Very, very cheap indeed. Yeah, again, my speculation would be this is a move to prevent up an international loan spot. And we move. I'm going to talk to you about the stuff that Enzo Maresca's just said, but I quickly want to reference this article that was published last night by Ornstein. Southampton are in advanced talks with Chelsea to sign Leslie Gachukwu on a season-long loan. There will be not an option to buy. And of course, Gachukwu is highly rated. As you guys know, he's had an excellent pre-season, scoring 2 goals, playing all over the gaff in the midfield. So Chelsea see the 20-year-old midfielder who joined from Rennes 12 months ago as a major part of their long-term plans, and with similar attributes to Real Madrid's Aurélien Tchouameni, of course a Galactico midfielder that cost 80-90 million. Playing in Real Madrid's midfield, started the other day. He was the only holding midfielder, and he was flanked by Fede Valverde and Jude Bellingham. Behind the front three of Vinicius, Rodrigo, and of course Mbappe. Sickening stuff. But yeah, look, Gachukwu is awesome. It's the same thing with kind of Andrew Santos, who's gone again on loan to Strasbourg. No option to buy. See him as a really high-profile player that could be important for Chelsea moving forwards. This is the same deal here with Leslie Ugochukwu to Southampton. I would imagine as well he's probably spoken to Lavia, hasn't he? And Lavia is like, yeah, it's a good club. Go and hang out there for 12 months and do your thing. Many Chelsea fans will be a little bit frustrated about this because he's good. You know, I know we've got loads of midfielders, but who have we got now? So we've got the £100 million men, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, who I think both will be really important. So a lot of people are speculating that Fernandez won't often start, that you'll see a midfield of both Caicedo and Lavia playing together. Of course, Lavia is an expensive midfielder himself, who's, of course, from Southampton, but also played under Maresca at Man City youth level. We got Dewsbury Hall. People are expecting him to start. Some people are speculating, of course, that Cole Palmer will play on one of these inside attacking number 8, 10 positions, though I have a feeling he's going to start on the right wing. Early doors, at least, anyway. And yeah, man, we got options. And Nkunku plays as an attacking midfielder as well. He plays as one of the 8s. So there is a lot there. And it looks like a strong pre-season has got him a good Premier League loan, I guess. He's a great player. I guess this is a good move. Let me know what you think about Leslie Ugochukwu to Southampton. 12-month Premier League loan without an option to buy. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Let me know what you think. All right, so Enzo Fernandez. No, not Fernandez. Enzo Maresca has, of course, spoken in his first Premier League pre-match press conference ahead of the Man City game this weekend. He was firstly asked stuff like, where do you think Chelsea are in the development? And interestingly, of course, many of us have thought, this wasn't the greatest of pre-season. You know, we've only got one win in all the pre-season games. And he has been saying he is ahead of where I expected us to be. Now, this could be classic managerial politician style talk, like saying, you know, sort of trying to like lead the witness, like, you can't have any better than this. This is better than we're supposed to be, kind of thing. Look, maybe he's referencing stuff that we don't see. And like I said, pre-season's not about results, especially when you're in America traveling around doing promo. He said it himself, the real pre-season work happens at Cobham, which, you know, you feel bad for the international fans, the American fans that go and watch them out there. But it's the truth. His job is to manage Chelsea, do well in domestic competitive competitions. His real coaching, the intense stuff, the stuff he wants to keep behind closed doors, he'll do at Cobham. Hopefully it pays dividends against Man City. He also confirms that everyone is fit, apart from, of course, Reece James and his hamstring injury, which feels rare for Chelsea, everyone being fit. I mean, Reece James being injured doesn't feel rare, of course, but everyone else being completely fit. Now, not everyone is match ready, but everyone is fit. He, of course, was asked about Conor Gallagher as well. He confirmed a lot of what the reports are saying, that he is training away from the first team, doing medical stuff, making sure he's all okay. He won't be involved in the Man City game, obviously, and he says, look, we're trying to find a solution. You guys have been following it in the media. He didn't name Atletico Madrid, but we all know the situation. Atletico Madrid posted a picture of him in the, Metropolitano. Everyone knows what's going on there, do you know what I mean? And of course, when asked in relation to these big transfers, he was asked about Felix and Osimhen, and he says, look, I won't comment on players that aren't our players. He does do the politician manager quite good, but this is stuff you expect, I suppose. And he just goes on to say, look, the club know exactly what I think we need. I'm going to jump over, these are some notes I've taken. In just a moment, I'm going to jump over to Nazar Kinsella, citing some of his quotes as well, which are interesting. He was asked, of course, about Man City, generally, how much better they are than Chelsea and these other clubs, and sort of responding to the Man City question, but referencing just good, successful clubs. He said, look, the only difference between us and the other clubs, kind of like Man City and stuff, is that the managers have been given time to work. I'm 100% sure this team is getting better and better and better. I'm sort of, inferring it will get there, but he says he just needs time. Of course, Pochettino did well towards the end of last season, wasn't given time, but I think that's more of a relationship chemistry dynamic in terms of a working experience. And, it's the season hasn't started, but in theory, this should be a fit. You know, Enzo, would you swipe right or left on Tinder? I don't know, when you match with someone. In theory, you know, I even hear reports now that Pochettino is still a marriage of convenience, that Enzo Maresca doesn't represent that. In fact, he represents a risk in many ways. He was a championship manager, so it's certainly not a manager of convenience. But, you know, Pochettino does scream that. He's high profile, isn't he? When he's managing the US men's national team now. I do wonder if Poch is a bit washed. Like, he's been a good manager, a great guy, like great man manager. But I wonder, like, if he's just never really going to have done it, you know, in his career. It'll be one of those. Maybe he's just too Spursy. Yeah, but he was still a high-profile, you know, manager, right? You know, Pochettino. This is not the case with Maresca. It's not a marriage of convenience, and therefore, you'll hope that they will be comfortable giving him this time that he is saying is mandatory for any team to be successful. He said some more stuff as well. Excuse me. Of course, he was referenced about how Chelsea have 43 first-team players. He confirms that he's only training with 28 players, with the rest are in a separate group. At the moment, I start to think I have 43 players is not a good thing. Paul and Lawrence, the sporting directors, are in charge of finding solutions for the players, not me. He also goes on to sort of joke around and say, if I did have to do anything with this, they'd have to pay me double. Yeah, so it's nice to hear that everyone talks about, you know, there's a lot of media noise, like the circus at Chelsea, what's going on at Chelsea, they've got 1,000 players. True, but these players rightly they've learnt from their mistake with Graham Potter when they just had them all, gave them loads of players, and they were all like, you know, sitting in the hallway and no room to change, and he, you know, it really undermined all training sessions. I do feel bad for Potter. He had a rough ride at Chelsea. But we're not speaking about Graham Potter. They've learnt from that, and they're like, right, you pick a group that you're going to train with, and yes, we'll have all these players officially as registered as Chelsea players, but we'll deal with them, we'll get them gone, or put them in the development team or whatever. Choose your squad of a good size and work with them, and we'll keep everyone else separate. Smart. You can have your own opinions about, you know, it's harsh on Trevoh Chalobah, and don't know if it's harsh on Lukaku or Kepa. It's probably more necessary, but do you know what I mean? In terms of Chelsea as a team and playing well, this makes the most sense. Something else really interesting that he spoke about, because obviously it's been a huge recurring theme of he's this dogmatic philosophical manager, like my way or the highway, a sort of stubborn geezer who won't change the way he plays to the point of where he frustrates fans at times. But he did say in this press conference, I'm citing again Nizar Kinsella's social media here, Maresca says he is tactically flexible. He explains in pre-season, he played in 2 different ways with the ball in his friendlies and pressed in 4 different ways across 6 matches. So he's saying when you had possession, he wasn't doing this one dogmatic my way or the highway style of play. He says with the ball, we're going to play in 2 different ways, 2 different options. And without the ball, there's 4 different pressing patterns. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of Maurizio Sarri. Maurizio Sarri did have a very, very dogmatic, like, philosophical style of play. Sarri ball, it did bore people a lot of the times. When it works, it's great, but there was also, like, complex elements. Do you remember there was that story that Maurizio Sarri had, like, 40 corner routines or something ridiculous? It was something insane. Something absolutely insane. Like, it was a meme. It was a joke. And I remember you'd see, like, Willian, like, tapping his head, rubbing his stomach, and, like, you know, doing a little dance or something. The amount of different set-piece routines was crazy. Of course, now we've got Bernardo Cueva from Brentford for that. Anyway, this is not about Maurizio Sarri and his set-piece routines. It is positive to hear that this coach, the Chelsea manager, is willing to sort of bend his rules slightly. And there will be, like, times when we absolutely need to do that. Potentially in the first game of the season at home against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, because that baby girl is going to be tough. Yeah, dude. So that's that for the moment. Of course, the stories are developing with transfers, and they're high-profile, big, exciting stories. There is Conor Gallagher, of course, trying to get to Atletico Madrid. You've got Diego Simeone, like, calling him up, saying, you know, it's going to be all right. We're going to get you. Don't worry about it. There is Osimhen, who's not training with Napoli, who would come to Chelsea, but won't lower his wages, his salary. I think that will be the biggest stumbling block. I think Chelsea could get the transfer over the line because, of course, Napoli want Lukaku. They could probably take a player off us, whether that's Cassidy. It's been rumoured it could be, and then Chelsea could give a few quid on top. And of course, Joao Felix to try and get the Gallagher stuff over the line as well. They wanted 60 million. Chelsea offered 35 million. You kind of can see that meeting in the middle. The positive reports on that transfer are that Joao loved London. He liked Chelsea. He'd come back. He'd probably like to come back in a more chilled out iteration of Chelsea, which absolutely now is. I mean, I've just a couple of minutes ago spoken about that insane Graham Potter period with players everywhere. Felix was part of that, man. That was just stupid, you know what I mean? So he probably was like, yeah, I love Chelsea despite it being crazy. I'd come back and it's probably more chill now, you know. Play with Cole Palmer looks pretty good to me. And he's agreed to lower his wages substantially to fit into Chelsea's wage structure. But he wasn't a target of the transfer plan, you know. So we'll see what happens. If it is too good to turn down, then they'll probably do it. But it kind of almost needs to make that too good. To be honest, 50 million euros for Felix is pretty good, especially if he's lowering his wages lots. You know, this kid cost 120 million euros or something crazy. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Of course, I will keep you guys updated with all the transfer stories, so do keep it locked to the channel. If you do choose to subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll thank you for liking. And I hope to see you back here very, very soon. Peace.